The Scandals of Estes Kefauver, A Complex Legacy. Estes Kefauver, a Tennessee senator and one of the most significant political figures of mid-20th century America, is often remembered for his work in battling organized crime. However, beyond his public image, his life was filled with fascinating, and at times, controversial moments. This video delves into some of the most scandalous and shocking facts surrounding Kefauver's life and career. Fact number 1. A humble beginning with private struggles. Estes Kefauver was born on July 26, 1903, in the small town of Madisonville, Tennessee, into a family of modest means. His father, Robert Cook Kefauver, was a hardware merchant, and his mother, Fredonia Bradley, took care of the household. Despite limited financial resources, Estes was a bright and ambitious student, earning a scholarship to attend the University of Tennessee, where he graduated in 1924. He later studied at Yale Law School, graduating in 1927. His personal life, however, was far more complicated. In 1935, he married Nancy Pigott, a woman of strong will and social standing. Together, they had 4 children. However, the pressures of his demanding political career often kept him away from home for long stretches. This distance, combined with rumors of infidelity that dogged Kefauver, led to tensions in their marriage. Although no solid proof of extramarital affairs surfaced, his frequent absences due to his political commitments contributed to the strain. His rocky personal life stood in stark contrast to his public image of a dedicated public servant, painting a more complex picture of the man behind the political persona. Number 2. The Kefauver Crime Committee, Scandalous Publicity Stunts? In 1950, Estes Kefauver's name became a household fixture when he chaired the Senate Special Committee to investigate crime and interstate commerce, commonly known as the Kefauver hearings. These televised hearings, broadcast to millions of Americans, exposed the inner workings of organized crime in the U.S. The committee summoned notorious figures like mob boss Frank Costello, who famously shielded his face from the cameras, and Lucky Luciano, providing the American public a front-row seat to the nation's criminal underworld. However, the hearings were not without controversy. Critics accused Kefauver of using the hearings as a platform to boost his own political ambitions. Some felt he exaggerated the influence of organized crime to maintain media attention and secure a future run for the presidency. Despite this, the hearings were pivotal in bringing the issue of organized crime into the public spotlight. The accusation that Kefauver prioritized self-promotion over genuine reform led to ongoing debates about the true intent of his crusade against crime. Number 3. A failed presidential campaign marred by betrayal. Kefauver's presidential aspirations were significant, but they ended in bitter disappointment. He first ran for the Democratic nomination in 1952, securing an impressive number of primary victories. His populist appeal and high-profile role in the crime hearings boosted his support. However, when he ran again in 1956, despite winning key primaries, he lost the nomination to Adlai Stevenson. Kefauver had been the front-runner, but the Democratic Party elites, favoring the more establishment-friendly Stevenson, maneuvered behind the scenes to ensure his defeat. Accusations of backstabbing and betrayal among party leaders tainted Kefauver's loss, as delegates shifted their support to Stevenson during the convention's intense negotiations. Kefauver's defeat marked a turning point in his political career, leaving him bitter and disillusioned. The dramatic nature of his downfall became a political scandal in its own right, as rumors of behind-the-scenes deals overshadowed what could have been a victory for the anti-establishment senator. Number 4. Ties to Hollywood, a political star or a scandalous insider? While leading the crime hearings, Kefauver found himself crossing paths with Hollywood elites. His investigations into the entertainment industry's ties to organized crime raised eyebrows, particularly when he began associating with stars like Frank Sinatra and Humphrey Bogart. Rumors swirled that Kefauver, once a critic of the film industry's moral standards, was enjoying his time in the Hollywood limelight a bit too much. Some accused him of using his newfound celebrity status to gain influence in the entertainment world. While his public persona remained that of a crime-fighting crusader, insiders whispered about his cozy relationships with Hollywood's elite. Critics questioned whether Kefauver's pursuit of corruption was entirely genuine or if he was capitalizing on the glitz and glamour of show business. These ties, though never proven to be improper, cast his shadow over his reputation as a reformer. Number 5. Controversial stance on civil rights. Although Kefauver is often remembered for his progressive leanings, his stance on civil rights was not without controversy. In 1956, Kefauver initially signed the Southern Manifesto, a document drafted by Southern lawmakers to oppose the Supreme Court's decision in Brown v. Board of Education, which mandated the desegregation of public schools. This move shocked many of his progressive supporters and aligned him, however briefly, with segregationists. It wasn't long before Kefauver distanced himself from the manifesto, publicly withdrawing his support as the civil rights movement gained momentum. However, his early association with the segregationist cause left a stain on his reputation among liberal voters. Though he later became a supporter of civil rights legislation, including voting in favor of the Civil Rights Act of 1957, the scandal of his initial stance haunted his political career. Number 6. Accusations of Communist sympathies. The height of the Cold War brought the Red Scare to the forefront of American politics, and Kefauver found himself embroiled in accusations of being soft on communism. In the early 1950s, as Senator Joseph McCarthy led his infamous anti-communist crusades, Kefauver was criticized for not taking a hard enough line against perceived communist threats. In 1954, right-wing critics targeted him, claiming that his opposition to certain anti-communist measures stemmed from sympathy toward left-wing ideologies. Although these accusations were baseless, they tarnished his reputation among conservative voters and forced him to vigorously defend his patriotism. The scandal surrounding these accusations was a significant distraction during a volatile time in American politics, and while Kefauver weathered the storm, the rumors of communist sympathies followed him for the rest of his career. Number 7. The Kefauver Amendment and Pharmaceutical Backlash. In 1962, Kefauver played a pivotal role in shaping drug regulation in the U.S. with the passage of the Kefauver-Harris Amendment. This law required pharmaceutical companies to provide proof of the efficacy and safety of their products before they could be marketed to the public. While hailed as a significant victory for consumer protection, the amendment made Kefauver a target of the powerful pharmaceutical industry. Behind closed doors, drug companies launched an aggressive smear campaign against him, accusing him of stifling innovation and undermining economic growth. They lobbied hard to block further consumer protection efforts, painting Kefauver as a politician who was out of touch with American business interests. This opposition made it difficult for him to pass additional reforms, but the controversy cemented his legacy as a champion for public health. Number 8. An unlikely crusader for animal rights. Kefauver's dedication to progressive causes extended beyond human rights. He became an advocate for the humane treatment of animals. In the late 1950s and early 1960s, Kefauver supported legislation to protect laboratory animals from unnecessary cruelty, aligning himself with animal rights activists. This stance, however, drew criticism from the medical research community, which relied heavily on animal testing for scientific advancement. Critics accused him of prioritizing minor issues over pressing national concerns, with some even mocking his involvement in the movement. Despite the backlash, Kefauver remained steadfast in his beliefs. His lesser-known advocacy for animal rights adds a surprising dimension to his political career, demonstrating his willingness to fight for causes outside the mainstream. Number 9. A tumultuous Senate career and questionable alliances. Throughout his time in the Senate, Kefauver was a master of navigating political factions, often switching sides depending on the issue. This earned him a reputation as a pragmatist, but it also led some to question his loyalty to his own ideals. He was known to compromise with Southern segregationists on certain votes while aligning with labor unions and progressives on others. Critics accused him of political opportunism, pointing to his ability to shift allegiances when it suited his agenda. While his ability to form unlikely alliances helped him pass significant legislation, it also raised questions about his consistency and commitment to his principles. This balancing act added complexity to his political persona, with some viewing him as a shrewd negotiator and others as an untrustworthy politician. Number 10. A heart attack ends a career shrouded in controversy. In 1963, Kefauver suffered a heart attack that ended his Senate career. He died on August 10, 1963, in Bethesda, Maryland, leaving behind a complex and controversial legacy. His sudden death sparked rumors about the toll his high-stress career had taken on his health. Some speculated that the constant battles with organized crime, political rivals, and corporate interests had worn him down. His death marked the end of an era in American politics, but the scandals and controversies that defined his career continue to echo in the halls of political history.